So today we are going to show you how to swage correctly. What are we using this for? Keep watching to find out. The wire, ferrule and the thimble can be so useful anywhere from gardening to hanging your clothes or safety barriers and many other industrial applications. Let us know in the comments section what you think it will be used for. I hope it's not too obvious. Now let's dive right into it. In order to replace this cable which is broken, we first need to measure the length of the installed cable and add additional half a meter to give some allowance when we are installing the cable. We also need to know the diameter of the cable, which we measured using a vernier caliper, and we estimated it to be around 3 mm. You have to purchase a suitable size cable which matches this 3 mm and the associated parts, which are the thimble and ferrule. Before we replace the cable, we have to remove the old cable, which we can easily cut away using a grinding disc. I'm going to put the parts into the location just to check whether they fit. So I've installed the ferrule first just as a guide, and the thimble is going to go like this through here. Now the thimble may not work sometimes because of the location. In this case, it doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the thimble and test to see whether the cable fits nicely. So we can see that the ferrule fits very nicely up here. So the only thing we need to do now is to crimp this down, and then later we can tighten. We've marked the point in which we need to drill the hole to install this anchor. This anchor will be actually supporting the steel cable. Okay, in order to ensure that the anchor is snugged into the ground, we're going to use an impact drill. This is the drill bit that I use, and you notice it doesn't use the normal chuck and the chuck key. So this drill bit is according to the size of the anchor that I want, and is fitted very nicely and clicked into place. Look at the two handles to this drill. Now there's a reason why you have two handles, so that you actually get proper support before you drill. We also need to make sure that how deep we drill corresponds to the depth of the anchor. And typically what I do is I will take the length and use a masking tape to mark on my drill bit the length that I need, and just give a little bit extra, maybe about half a cm extra. And don't forget to use your safety goggles. This is very important in this process because you will sometimes see particles of sand breaking off while you're drilling. Now this drill has got a couple of modes. I'm going to use the impact mode. Position your drill bit and start drilling. Make sure you have proper support and don't allow the drill bit to run. So now while you're bringing it out, continue to operate the drill so that you can easily pull it out. So we have completed the drilling operation. Now you can see that there's a lot of dust and sand. Clear it all up. Use the anchor and make sure this nut at the end is sitting nicely before you put the anchor in. What is going to happen is, as you tighten the hook when it's in, the length will not change. The anchor is now going to open up and hold against the wall in the ground. Now you see I just put the anchor in, and I'm going to tap it in using a hammer. Now when you tap, this is a brass anchor. Just tap very carefully. Don't damage the anchor while you're doing it. And you can actually use a locking plier or any convenient tool that you have to rotate and tighten the anchor in place. Now insert the installed cable through the guiding hook and use your ferrule as we did earlier. Insert your ferrule, hook up your cable, give it a little bit of tension. You can try to put this thimble in, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult or it doesn't fit very nicely. I decided not to use the thimble because the tension in the cable that is required is actually not really that much. So position the ferrule nicely. This is my crimping tool. Check the size. Make sure the size corresponds to the ferrule that you're using and the matching cable size. It comes in mm and it comes in inches. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm using the one in inches because this is the only one that was available to me. And there is an equivalent size for the 3 mm cable. Now insert your crimping tool carefully. Make sure it's in the correct direction. Once you have put the crimping tool in, what I do is I'm crimping at least 2 times on this, and I'm using different sizes. I'm using a grinder now to cut away the remainder cable. When you're using the grinder, ensure that there's a guard in place. This is to prevent any serious injury to yourself. This swaging process was for blinds that were originally installed and the cable that got broken off. You can use this for any other usage that you want. It's quite easy to do. Only thing that the tool might be a little bit expensive, and you just need a bit of training on how to use it. This is the final product. I've actually placed some protection around the hook so that if anybody is walking, they do not get hurt by putting their foot on it.